haven't completely used all their points, though. Looks like Adrian over here used 98 total points, whereas Graylin went fully in with 100. I'm not going to spoil any surprises, but we'll see where those points were spent soon enough.
Yeah, it's not just Paleozoic. I'm going to kind of wait to see us all note what that face-down monster is, because there's an array of old-school frogs in Adrian's deck that I have some affinity for, especially if you have gone throughout the history of this game and been playing for decades. There are some OG frogs in this deck.
Yeah, there are. And it makes sense, too. I mean, they're all level 2 Aqua monsters, so it kind of helps. But let's go back to the dinosaurs here. We're activating Fire King Island. And probably going to try to destroy something. I mean, with Adrian, you've got so many options. You can banish cards. You can flip stuff face down. The Paleozoic trap lineup has a lot of options here, but let's see what we do first with Graylin.
He has no hand, so something like Dinomischus wouldn't work.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, you're not going to be able to drop anything from the hand here. But speaking of dropping, get rid of Garunix there. And what are we destroying? It's good to see Low. We love Voiceless Voice.
That is a deck we could see this week.
We actually could. There's some weird stuff out there.
Looks like we're going to get Ponix, though.
And a gorgeous Ponix it is.
Yeah, recently upgraded. I believe that is a Starlight Rare from the tins. So the interesting thing about watching and preparing for Genesys is you might be so familiar with some of the play sequences from a couple years ago. Things are just going to look a little bit different here.
I do love that because it lets old decks kind of have a breath of fresh air, and it also lets new strategies that weren't possible before really come to life. Because, I think with the frogs, that's a great example. Some of these frogs hit the Forbidden List pretty fast, and being able to combine them with cards that have really proven themselves, because Paleo did great things at its time when it first released. But it looks like we're just going to go ahead and...
Looks like it's one of the Paleo trap cards. It's really sometimes hard to tell from the image. Looks like this is going to be one that sends it to the graveyard.
That does kind of get the combo started because you really do need to take advantage of the fact. And so it's going to be Paleozoic Morella.
Wow, he's sending Elemental Burst.
Wait, what?
Talk about being able to dig through maybe what cards you would call at home kind of the bulk pile, just this big bin of cards. I know everybody growing up probably had one of those, to find Elemental Blast.
Well, he's not going to have all the different attributes to be able to activate that card. To me, that signals that he's probably using Transaction Rollback in order to pay half his life points in order to use that trap from the graveyard. But he also now has a Paleozoic Morella in the graveyard, so the next trap he activates is also going to get him a tiny little level 2 monster unaffected by monster effects. And that's important considering the Fire King certainly has a lot of monster effects here. It looks like we'll use the Ponix to go ahead and search. Typically, this is Fire King Sanctuary, but maybe since Paleozoic does a lot of banishment, you just get something like Fire King Skyburn or the Circle. Let's see what he grabs. It's also wild, too, because in Genesys, any card is legit. There's no... People talk about not seeing things in the format, but obviously we're going to see that, so... Oh, we're doing Barong, too. Another great card, being able to search out another Fire King on the next standby phase after it was destroyed. And Barong is not somebody you see that actively in, recent Fire King lists. But Genesys has a different tempo. I like to say everything resolves in Genesys, right? Because you have to spend points on things like Ash Blossom Joyous Spring if you choose to use it. Even Max C if you choose to use it. Yep, La Cucaracha does exist here.
And of course, there was the increase to the Droll Lockbird as well.
Yeah.
So, it gets,
I want to say Droll Lockbird is at 25 points down. And that's another tell as you're playing in Genesys. If they have cards that stop you, they probably don't have any pointed cards that do something to you. So they have to make that trade-off. So it's really great for the deck-building geniuses out there.
One thing is that...
It is kind of interesting. You previewed this matchup and talking a little bit about Jurrac's ability to wipe the field with Stereo. It's actually funny now that Elemental Burst is in the graveyard, that Adrian's kind of threatening that with the Transaction Rollback.
We'll just have to rewind back to...
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, we're just going to have to...
Okay, so it does look like we got to rewind a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
Genesys is a little interesting, too, because you're going to find yourself in these unfamiliar play lines like you were suggesting. It's not like people have 300 YCSs of Genesys experience. This is basically the first major for this tournament series.
Yeah, this one goes back, and then that's going to activate in separate chain. So, but we're still going to rewind back to.
Oh, so it's just when this is activating. Gotcha.
So,
okay.
We're just going to rewind to those triggers.
These are still in hand. That's in the extra deck.
Yeah.
So now, this is still set.
Yeah, exactly. And that's
nothing major. Just duelists at work here.
Just choose basically.
So this is chain one.
Yeah, that can chain one, and it's just the chain.
Pick one.
They're rewinding a few steps here.
You're good.
All right, so
and still then I'll still do the Morella chain.
Yeah, so then summon.
So you're good there.
Okay, and then on summon, add this stand.
You're adding
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
okay.
that's perfectly fine.
It does not look like he did search Skyburn.
There you go.
So it looks like it's just going to be a procedural error minor, right? Ponix and Garunix can't be both triggered on the same destruction. It's one of those effects where it's a private knowledge area typically is like the unified theme of that. If it's 2 cards in a private knowledge area trying to trigger off the same thing, they typically cannot. Great example, and kind of for my own Genesys deck building, you can't do the Divine Emperor, the Heavenly Prison, and Amazement Administrator Arlecchino at the same time. You got to pick and stick between one of the two.
The Ponix, or destroying Garunix.
Destroying Gurnix.
Mm-hmm.
So we are going to destroy Garunix to bring out the Kieran. But that Jurrac Megalo is already starting to get stuff set up.
It's not cost, but no.
It is unfortunate for Adrian
also,
that
yeah, you'll summon
he's
that.
going to try to combine
on
transaction
Rise of
rollback with
activating,
elemental
the
hearts. He's
Hiking
playing
Garunix.
against probably one of the worst decks.
Do you have anything else on
consider
that
a court wipe
resolution?
like that?
Sorry, still in chain on that.
You might try to have to
No.
position it such that a lot of the Fire King effects have already been activated and take advantage of that.
Yeah, but it'll be interesting because, again, he can send a Jurrac monster from his deck or extra deck, and we did see there's the Synchro monster. So he basically has the setup now for Astro being the one that you send to the graveyard, and then you just banish those 2, and all of a sudden you got Meteor. Nibiru the Primal being maybe not as good in Genesis, but it's nice when you can basically call its little brother.
We'll destroy Aviator.
Do you mind if I read this one?
Oh, and Arvada, too. You know, it's funny because you almost, like, remember these cards as they first hit the field, and being able to have a monster effect negate that also destroys one of your cards, basically progressing your strategy even further. I don't know if Paleozoic's going to be able to hold in there, but it's got all the cards it needs in the sense that just face downs usually mean negate, flip, banish, etc.
On new chain, I can activate.
I mean, there's
Aviator.
over 30 trap cards in
yeah.
Adrian's deck, and I don't want to spoil too many of them. There's some really spicy ones, so any single card could really just totally shift the outcome here. So we'll kind of watch as Adrian decides to sequence. Does that look like an Ice Dragon's Prison?
Oh, it does, actually, which is kind of weird because you don't necessarily have
right?
that much of type synergy within the Fire King strategy, especially with the dinosaurs, too, right? Because you've got Beasts, Beast Warriors, Wing Beasts, and now you have dinosaurs in the mix, so it's going to be a little difficult there. And this is kind of a, we always make the jokes about Yu-Gi-Oh players reading, but it is funny to see, a lot of these cards you are going to be unfamiliar with because I'll tell you, this Genesis event is wide open in terms of format. Representation from every era of the game and representation from eras that didn't even exist.
So which is this one here? Is this Trapaholic?
Gotcha.
It does look like Trapaholic, so he's going to be destroying his own trap since he has 3 or more spells or traps. So he'll get to set a trap that can be activated this turn, which is huge for this deck too. And you get wow,
there's
look
the
what he
transaction
destroyed.
rollback. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. I mean, he's feeling like he's threatening transaction rollback, even though it wasn't evident that the.
But I didn't know he already
was
had
there.
it. That's huge, and so that means Elemental Burst in the year of our Raw 2026.
It's just a matter again of sequencing it so that you don't trigger the Fire Kings.
Yeah, because
it's hard to do.
It's a good card, but you almost don't want to destroy all cards your opponent controls.
Yeah, it really needs to kind of be one of the last things that you do when you have full hand knowledge. And some of the Fire King effects have already been activated.
Timing will certainly help there.
I'm curious what he's going to set. Again, there's just so many different cards in this deck.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the sky's the limit. This is such a powerful card. 14 points, well spent. And the transaction rollback taking up 21 points as well. And so you can start to see that his combo gets used up pretty fast with those cards. I love the point value system too, because you do get to play anything you want. You just can't play an unfair version of anything you want. So I guess if you want to play unfair Yu-Gi-Oh, sorry friends. Still fair games here.
Skyburn destroys these 3.
Or does it? It doesn't go off now, right? Because the target's gone.
No, it does. So sorry.
So we're still going to destroy with the Skyburn. Judge explaining.
On the field.
Is that
Well,
it's
balance of judgment?
destroy them, not destroy those targets.
Yeah, just like he may have said a balance of
Gotcha.
judgment.
That is
So
exactly
you'll
correct.
destroy these.
From the art.
Your chicken will summon.
That's another one that's a blast from the past.
Totally is.
And then just the effect of Kieran goes off now. Destruction.
Sorry, 1 second.
I mean, even just saying the classic Runix, which doesn't make every Fire King list
So
still,
these
still
3 get
popular
destroyed,
though,
and then
but
resolution. Kieran's other
So
destruction
you're
effect.
triggering Kieran? Okay. I will.
Oh, I think we're about to do it.
Mind just setting the balance.
Yeah.
to
Oh, yep.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that.
He's considering that transaction rollback. Pay half. Grab any trap card effect from your graveyard that's a normal trap. A lot of pressure too, right? You want to win the very first Genesys Proto-YCS.
Chain Magical Idol Soul.
Oh, Magical
since a
Soul.
since a monster was summoned through an effect of my trap card, I can special summon him from the grave.
Okay.
Or Magical
Yeah, is
Loidal
that
Soul.
all?
Yes.
So that also, if I recall correctly, is a level 2 body, but I think it's
Gotcha.
also a tuner
Oh, wow,
monster.
okay. Cool.
Very curious to see how he set up his
sorry.
extra
Yeah.
deck here.
Awesome.
So that goes. We'll go.
Did you resolve the effect of Sacred Runes? It was to send, like the on-summon effect.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah, it was about
yeah,
Braum,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes,
It just
was,
took.
yes.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
No, you're fine. Yeah. Thank you.
Even the judge is
so
like,
we'll
there's a lot of
use,
Yu-Gi-Oh happening here. No, we've got it
yeah,
under control,
It was
friends.
Braum.
Bring up
B-A-R-O-N-G.
And then we'll go ahead and with the following, we'll go and destroy this.
Oh yeah, because Kieran
there's
does
a risk
special
here,
summon
yeah.
and destroy a card in the field, and that's very helpful when
we'll
it's your own
go
card
into
you
battle.
want to destroy.
I'm sorry.
Enter battle.
Entering that.
Yeah, battle's fine.
Battle phase. Sorry.
Entering battle
We'll
phase.
just go attack into the soil.
Adrian taking a second to think here. Haven't used up all their effects, but we're doing it. Banish transaction rollback. Paying half your life points, 4,000.
Every how much is it?
And I will use it to Ice Dragon's Prison.
It halves, right?
So it is banish, copy the effect of a trap card in my graveyard.
Okay. Gotcha.
So I'm going to target the Ice Dragon's Prison, and I'm going to use that
Oh,
to target your
interesting.
turn
Okay,
So
yeah.
all the
Anything
hype over the
no.
elemental burst is
so
almost
this will summon,
misplaced
and
because
then
he's
as
just
the card
using
resolves,
Ice
let's
Dragon's
do
Prison to just banish both of them to protect both.
forget,
So
this
pay
also
half to
has,
put
right?
yourself
It
in a
also
good
has
position,
one.
but
Yeah,
also
yeah,
stop
gotcha.
those effects because he didn't destroy anything.
And he banishes them, which I think is advantageous in the long run. I think obviously, clearly, once you realize you're playing against Fire King,
Main two.
Elemental
and
Burst
then,
is
main phase
it's not
two,
going to
and then,
necessarily line
main
up
phase.
quite as favorably as you would want.
Doesn't help quite as much as you'd help.
All right. You said end phase is good?
Yeah.
All right, living life on the
How
edge.
much is
Adrian
it?
draws.
Standby phase. Yes. Ponyx effect goes off. To add to hand.
This is going to be a big standby phase, though. I believe it's going to be
And,
Garunix,
continue.
Barong, and Ponix.
I will.
Maybe we just
Set
sent
one.
the Barong to the graveyard. We didn't actually
Set
activate its
phase.
effects.
Set one.
So we're just going to set one and pass.
Set one right now, so it shouldn't. Pass.
That's a trap deck for you.
Go
Oh, here it comes. We were talking about this behind the scenes. I really wanted you to see the Jurrac Meteor come down because this is such a cool
Yeah, we'll
vibe with this
go-
deck.
Back
We'll
to
use
the
a Steros effect.
Yep.
Quick play effect.
It's banish it and a Jurrac to blow something up, right?
Just summons out a Jurrac Ash Meteor
Well, Adrian's ahead of the game because he's
Yeah.
going to blow something up either way.
and counts as.
Oh, not that one. That one.
Oh yeah, sorry, it's the last.
No, you're
effect
good,
on
you're
it,
good,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay.
All right, so here we go.
These two.
And this is something that's very legit in the advanced format too, and even Master Duel. I've been seeing a lot of Jurrac Fire King hybrids.
And then,
This is a very narrow package that he's done, but it
anything
gets
on
it
the
done.
summon, and then activate the summon effect. Draw all cards on field.
Oh no, we get to see what the face down was. What was Adrian using to protect themselves?
And then the effect of when
His
it's
Balance of Death
destroyed,
is not gonna
special
net him.
summon
Oh, it's just the
either
monsters.
Jurrac
That's
or-
right.
don't have
I got too excited.
Yeah. So and then yeah. Good.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, this card too.
Oh,
Is
is it all
Nibiru's
cards?
little
Yeah.
brother after all. No, it is destroy all cards on the field. No, destroy all cards.
Gotcha.
So yeah, there's the traps. Okay. Thought I was
All right,
hallucinating
Micah?
there, but
You're still summoning, aren't you?
It's special summon tuner from the graveyard. So,
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, there's no tuner in his graveyard. Great for
draw.
pulling out Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, but in
Draw
Genesis
phase.
format, not seen as
Standby.
often.
Anything. Main. We'll go normal summon Ponyx.
Yeah.
Activate on summon.
You're good.
I feel like he's got to be able to get to 4,000 damage pretty fast in a
Oh,
Fire King
at,
deck. You know,
Fire King
just two
Sanctuary.
bodies on the field that are the main boss monsters of the deck. That should be enough to close it out. And so that was the tempo we came into, you know.
You're good. You're good.
Activate
Adrian
Fire King
all about
Sanctuary.
controlling.
But that seems like a really great sub-plan that he has that any point doesn't line up well against Fire Kings. And then Graylin has a board wipe that lines up really well against trap-based strategies that he can time out of his graveyard. It's not like one of those that you would have to go and do in your main phase, for instance.
Yeah, it's not telegraphed. The opponent doesn't get to like play against it and be like, okay, you've done the thing, now I'm going to play. And there are going to be very interesting matchups we see. This almost is like the anime where you just don't know who's going to walk into Battle City here at the 300th YCS.
Paper pairings are posted.
And so we use the Ponyx to get the Fire King Sanctuary.
Kieran.
And then we're going to destroy Kieran here.
Less than 3 minutes.
Trapaholic, certainly a great card, but could not close things out.
We'll go activate Kieran's effect.
Yeah.
Summon Avatar.
So Arvada hit the field here. And he's pretty close.
Thinking-
Might be worried about something in the graveyard there that I'm not seeing, but I mean, from this perspective, Adrian's got no
Use
hands.
the other
Pretty
effect
good.
to destroy. So it special summons and destroys a card.
Oh, so he's going to fully
yeah,
resolve the
yeah.
Kieran to destroy his own card to get the additional
Which
effect
then
of
we'll use
Arvada.
Avatar's effect to special summon Kieran,
It
but
summons it
negates his
back.
effect on field. We'll go enter battle.
Yeah.
Also swing for I'll attack directly for 2400. And then this does get the because I did destroy
It's game
Kieran.
regardless. I'm at 4K.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. My bad. Sorry.
Adrian's just
Braylon
like,
couldn't see it, like Adrian knows what's going on. That's so funny.
Don't need to calculate the exact atomic hardness. Might not line up as well.
It looks like we're getting back into it.
Oh, you're good.
Main phase 1.
Is that a spell card I see?
I think it might be Tune.
Trap Tantalizing Tune.
Trap Tantalizing
Discard
Tune.
Rise to Full Height.
Wow.
Discarding
Wow.
a Rise of Full Height.
Anything there?
A Rise
No,
to
you're
Full
good.
Height, rather.
Looks like he's rising now, drawing 2 cards. Card seeing a lot of play in Duel Links, actually. Traptrix is huge in Duel Links right now in a way that's just mind-blowing. So is B-Trooper, actually.
Yeah, Traptrix has had its time in Advanced Constructed before.
Oh yeah, we talked about the history of the YCSs. Man, 2014 was a good year for Traptrix.
Yep.
But taking a moment here, Adrian peering into his hands. Probably is some version of set 4 pass.
Yep. The question here is, if he keeps a card in his hand, it could be an indicator that he actually has Dinomischus.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
he actually keeps 2 cards in hand, so there could be an indicator there, as I mentioned, that he has Dinomischus.
My go?
Yeah.
All right. Draw.
You know, for a
Things
Paleozoic deck,
nearby.
we sure did not
You're
see any
good. All right.
Paleozoics in the
Main.
field last duel.
What
No, only in the graveyard.
am I activating? Fire King Sanctuary. Anything on activation?
Stop Sanctuary's access to the Fire King Island.
You're good.
We're not. Galen grabbing a powerful field spell here, protected from destruction by the Sanctuary. Adrian just kind of locked in here. Life is on the line in the sense that he loses this duel. It's going to be, it's still a Swiss tournament. It's not the start he may have wanted.
We'll go.
Looks like he might
We'll go activate Fire King
end up destroying the...
Island to dish.
Yeah.
It's
Oh
yeah.
yeah, it's a fact. It's not.
Yeah,
So this is going to probably be the Dinomischus that I mentioned. As I said, the fact that he kept cards in his hand was a
Um,
strong indicator that he had Dinomischus set.
Good read, Joe. Good read. So which card is he going to drop here? And this helps your strategy, too, considering you have transaction rollback. But it looks like, actually,
Poison
frogs.
Draw Frog. That was one of those iconic old school frogs that I mentioned looking at Adrian's deck list that I'd be curious if he actually put onto the field. Again, the fact that he would have kept it in his hand,
Yeah,
an
I was like,
indicator
well,
here
swing
that he
shirts is
needed
more
something to
back
pitch
to
with his Dinomischus.
I'll be curious if we get an interview with either of these players. You know,
normal
did they pick this because they thought it was
Onyx?
good or because they loved the deck from that era?
Yeah.
Fire King Onyx effect. You're good.
For what it's worth, when Poison Draw Frog was finding its way into the YCSs, it was not combining itself with very many trap cards. It was
Yeah,
finding
that's
itself
fair.
Usually with 0 trap cards, a whole lot of monsters, and maybe some mass drivers.
Yeah,
Though I
this-
will say, Poison Draw Frog did make it into the very first YCS Top 32, the 76th one in Virginia. There was a copy of a frog-based combo deck, and of course it had 3 copies of Poison Draw Frog as an integral part of that deck's combo.
Well, you are the master of Yu-Gi-Oh! History, after all. That's cool, though. I didn't know that.
Yeah, you would send it off of Swap Frog,
Oh,
like
that
actually
makes
off the
sense.
field physically,
Yeah.
and you'd be able to draw.
Well, actually getting to use the effect of the Poison Draw Frog.
Yes, you would actually draw all 3 times off of the Poison Draw Frogs because you'd bring them out with Substitute and Ronintonin. So you'd have all 3, and then you bring out your Swap Frogs one by one off of your Substitute, and you'd get to draw 3 cards.
And the
so
send is from Mass Driver too, right?
Well, the point was, if you ever drew Mass Driver in the deck, you would just win because you'd have enough frogs to banish with Ronintonin. But in order to increase the likelihood of drawing Mass Driver, you'd get all the frogs out of your graveyard, then go through your Poison Draw Frogs when there are no more frogs left in your deck. It was all just cards like Moray of Greed and hand destruction cards that enable you to draw, or just be Mass Driver itself.
Set 2.
Well, speaking of historic turns, I don't know if this one's it. We're just going to set 2. I think Graylin's just going to pass.
Yeah, Dynamiscus lines up really well against any strategy that inherently needs cards to be destroyed. Not that, Fire Island in and of itself at that point in time really mattered in terms of its destruction. Sometimes its destruction effect comes up, but certainly not as first game action.
Yeah, when I play against Fire Kings, you have that temptation to get rid of the Fire King Island because it will self-destruct the field. But a lot of times nowadays, that's a good thing for them. So it is tricky to play against this deck, but I think Adrian's timing was perfect. But I did see what appeared to be a Ghost Mourner and Moonlit Chill in the hand there from Graylin.
Yeah, it's an interesting inclusion. He might not have a lot of great options.
I'll set 2.
That makes
and
sense.
also be somewhat unsure what Adrian's trying to do. I mean, it is not inconceivable that you do go into the extra deck with multiple Paleozoic traps becoming monsters onto the field. So maybe having a monster negate is potentially useful.
Adrian may think that most people would side deck those out against him, so that could catch him by surprise. But we're going to Skyburn here.
We'll go ahead and do so many options.
Is this an end phase or main phase?
It was in main phase 2 before.
Main phase 2, yeah. Main phase 1.
Oh, this is main phase 1, right?
Main phase 1 is no
Yeah.
battle.
Oh, yeah, then main phase 1. My bad, my bad.
You're good, you're good, you're good, you're good.
We'll go this
What
one.
if we go after the
Let's just
set
go with the new
monster
one. Yeah,
or
sure.
the new
the
spell and trap card?
So it looks like the Spell Trap.
All right.
I will say that
Paleozoic hits the grave.
All right.
So end phase.
battling 1-for-1 trap to trap is actually something that I think favors Adrian, because if we don't see any of the more high impact Fire Kings hit the field, then those traps in the graveyard just become potential resources for Adrian.
Yeah, you guys.
Because if that's a level
Okay,
2 monster set, which it very likely
yeah.
is, it could conceivably be something like maybe Dupe
Can you
Frog.
stand by?
All it takes is one activation of a Paleozoic, and now you've got the
Yeah,
2 level
Phonics
2s on the
back.
field, and we can actually really start to see Adrian's strategy incorporate cards like, for instance, Totally Awesome.
Well, I don't think a huge threat was lost on Adrian's part because, the only thing that particular Paleozoic does is return a banished card to the graveyard, and while that's helpful for the Paleozoic player, it's not determinative of the entire duel, so he's probably, well, hopefully in Adrian's case, has 2 decent options still face down. We don't know what that monster is yet.
Yeah, I guess so. Oh, I don't know.
But he was able to at least cycle through his Ponics through that play.
Gotta get something
Yeah,
going.
from
Is that
Graylin's
a
perspective.
second Sanctuary?
Yeah, he actually is playing
And
the full package of
Wow.
Sanctuaries.
That is not something you see every day. Usually just like 1/1. But
I certainly recall when Fire King was being incorporated with Snake Eyes. I guess even there was a period of time where Fire King itself was a somewhat top contender. Sanctuary was not a card that you'd be terribly enthusiastic about drawing.
Yeah, but here we are. I guess because the grind game inherent with Genesis, again, like I said earlier, everything resolves because all your typical breaks take points. So usually a lot of duelists want to spend points on gas. They want to spend points on cards they can play or dominate the field with. So you use the second Sanctuary just to set more cards, and he does have a lot of Fire King cards here, more than most.
The Overroot, targeting Fire King Island,
What?
Fire King Island, and
Yeah,
targeting Skyburn.
this is what Terror of the
This goes to
Overroot,
the
I
Yeah.
believe is
graveyard,
this one.
And then this would get set on your field.
So he's going to
It's set?
reset,
Yes.
essentially,
Oh.
in exchange, one from the graveyard to one on the field.
What a wild trap card to use, but I guess just with all the options you have and hopefully getting access to your Paleozoic monsters too, like it's safe to try a lot of different things as a Paleozoic duelist in Genesis.
Okay, so this gets set, and then this. Oh, this gets sent, and then this gets set.
It is,
Okay.
it's
activate,
somewhat an indication of weakness if you have Overroot as your
Go and
only
destroy
interaction against Fire King Island.
True.
Because you have to set
This is in chain, right?
Yes,
the
yeah, you're
Skyburn
main
in
phase
order to
going
make
back.
this play.
So
So you're
Skyburn's
giving
good.
them a quick play.
And special summon it.
Taking a second to assess his options. I really wonder what those last 2 face-down cards were for Adrian because they could spell the difference between life and 0 life points.
This is still on the
Oh
field.
yeah, sorry.
It's not a.
Yeah.
But.
I think he's using Kieran, yeah.
In hand,
It was shifted over to the other side of the field too quickly, but we have Fire King High Avatar Kieran that's going to actually be able to destroy his Ponix.
Still enchained to that.
Okay.
I'll Daruma.
Daruma,
So this is put everything on the board.
And now we
face
have
down. Sorry,
Daruma
all monsters
Cannon.
on the board face down.
Okay.
And then anything that remains face up gets sent to the graveyard.
Anything? Okay, gotcha. Yeah. That,
So you do need to actually have it face up on the field for it to be
I'm gonna
indicated as a
chain
fire
link
monster, so I'm not sure he's going to be able to
we
resolve his
will
Kieran now
go-
because
Yeah.
his
for that
Ponix is going to be
chain,
face
we'll go,
down.
We'll go.
Really?
We'll go DD Crow.
Okay, DD Crow.
Yeah. Sure.
So the
then
reason
this
you
gets
DD
set.
Crow is if you allow the
This does
chain
go off,
to can
and-
pass back to Adrian, he
Yeah,
can then
this
activate a
gets
Paleozoic from the
Yeah,
graveyard.
so this gets
So this
sent,
is a way of
gets
chain
sent,
blocking the Paleozoic
and
effects.
then Fire King when it gets
Yep.
sent to grave.
It's
this
a
gets
really
destroyed.
important key detail if you were to play against Paleozoics from years ago, or even still today. Certainly, if you go to sign up for a Genesys tournament, very likely actually.
Yeah.
But you want to know that you can essentially
I'll go
chain block
Engrave.
the Paleozoic effect.
Face
So a
up.
card like DD Crow, which might seem like a somewhat lower impact, because you
Standby
could pick
Ponix
one out of the
goes on.
graveyard, but it can actually just be
Absent
used to manipulate chains really well.
You can continue.
Does some great
make
stuff
this one?
in the advanced format as
on.
well. I think Duelists familiar with that pace of play, Labyrinth in
And
the old
on
days,
to-
but more recently Draco Tail Gulamel. You're always
see,
just
so
activating
during,
weird
main
stuff
phase
to
one
keep
still,
that Gulamel
I'll
from
go activate
destroying
Kieran.
another card.
Any good on Kieran?
You're good there.
All right, so we'll destroy Ponix.
Yep.
Summon Kieran.
Yep.
Still on.
At least we're not on half-life points this time for Adrian's sake.
Activate,
Yeah, you're
Skyburn?
still in the phase, yeah.
So I'll
Yeah,
activate
Yeah, then we're
Skyburn.
going to go
Yeah.
Skyburn.
Kieran and the.
Reduce that.
Yeah, you're good. All right.
All right, so
This
we're
will
gonna
allow
use
him to
those
special
cards.
summon a Fire King from his
Yep.
graveyard.
Go special
get
summon Ponix.
Ponix.
And then destroy one card on your field.
Another Paleozoic
And
Marilla
Ponix
Falls,
effect
and there's a Magicaloid
Good.
Slime.
Right.
Magicaloidal Slime, excuse me.
Solar.
No nicknames for him.
He is an interesting card.
Oh, yeah.
Being able to summon himself back from the graveyard,
We'll just add circle.
conduct the equivalent of a quick Exceed or Synchro. We haven't really been able to see Adrian take advantage of the fact that he's incorporating this level 2 strategy. It's really just been exchanges with trap cards that I think Raylan is genuinely happy about
Right,
because of how much his deck can
draw
take
phase.
advantage and be grindy
Yeah.
of one-for-one
Draw phase,
exchanges.
draw,
So Adrian's really been put on the back
standby.
foot, not only in game 1, but here again in game 2. It's wild just to see Grant like very slowly just Kieran, Ponix, Kieran, Ponix, search, 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 over and over use cards like Skyburn. So it's just incremental advantage, but it is whittling Adrian's traps down and making it so that as of at least right now, he might need a lot to get back into this.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I see the vision of Adrian's deck, but against a matchup like Fire King that's just coming at you, and its backup plan is to keep coming at you, it is going to be rough. And unlike other decks, you're not off to the races by just drawing this one-card starter, because this isn't, Tomb Keeper. You're not going to see the man with the mark just show up and save the day.
Nor are there you can play them if you wanted to. Adrian has elected not to, but some of the pot cards that trap-heavy decks typically have used in the past, he could draw a pot of extravagance off the top, and next thing you know, there's 2 cards, and then that can really snowball. That's just not something that Adrian was able to do
Well, point
underneath the
values.
Genesys, point restrictions.
Because that's the thing, the transaction rollback package that we saw, that's very expensive, and then you got your Trapaholics, that's another tick there, and that's what I love about the deck building, because I don't know if you played any like the old Yu-Gi-Oh! Game Boy Advance games, but we did have like a point cap. We did basically have like a power level for your deck
So
here.
this is
Speaking of power
when this
levels.
face-up card leaves the field. I draw a card.
Gotcha.
Wrong time.
Time to go to battle phase.
There
Oh,
we go, Poison Draw Frog, the icon himself.
wait a second.
I mean,
He just said it.
Times.
yeah,
Except for
desperate times.
battle.
Yeah.
Attack the Kieran for 23.
23. Yeah.
This is genuinely speaking not what you would want to do with a Poison
Yeah.
Draw Frog.
Effective draw.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
It's a very expensive Upstart Goblin-esque
So
effect.
sad.
No, no.
And
I
you use your
will
normal summon, and
go to
now the
Genesys.
frog is gone.
Okay.
Set a card.
Oh, that better be the best card in the world.
I'm gonna have to. Oh, he did have another.
No!
Yeah, that's what I
what
was
is it?
saying.
What
Just
is
these
it?
Skyburns just over and over. and over.
Oh, okay, so he didn't have much anyway. Adrian, a great